The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps. The cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Riftnationnetwork, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hi. Oh, frog in my throat already. Hi, all my creepy little weirdos out there. Welcome again to another episode of Horror History and Haunting. We're talking about the paranormal, the supernatural, and the just plain weird. But tonight, we are doing a story, basically a story from the source. I'll be interviewing tonight a wonderful guy. He is an author. He is an actor. and he is a director. He also has an entertainment company. We'll certainly talk about that too. I know he wants to talk about his brand new book coming out, The Other Side of the Graveyard. So, without further ado, let's bring him on. Come on, Dustin.
Hey, good evening. How are you?
Hey, Dustin, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Now, it's my understanding you've written? Now my redneck's coming out. We were written books. Okay. You
It's contagious.
your first book, The Structure. Can you tell me about that and what that's about?
Well, I can. The structure is was actually supposed to be a part of what I'm working on right now, which I hope comes out in the next couple of weeks. But it was going to be a short story about this guy in Alabama who was kind of like an eccentric character. He's got a lot going on, and that he kind of gets picked on a little bit, believes in conspiracy theories, cryptid stuff like that. Somebody, maybe we'd like to speak to, but
Right. One
most
of
people
our
in his,
weirdos. We'd hang out with him. So
yeah,
like come to the popular table. Come sit with us.
yeah, wrote from experience, right? So he buys a
Right.
drone and takes it back home. He lives like in the middle of the woods, and he starts flying this drone around, and when it's up in the air, he sees a structure in the woods that has never been there before. He's very familiar with the area, and there's just a
Hmm.
building there, and that it
It's like,
goes
wait
from
a
there.
minute, that wasn't there yesterday. Like, what's going on? Let's go find out what this is, right?
Right. So I can't say much more about that one without spoilers, but it ended up as I was writing it, the story just went so long. I was like, this is more than a short story. I can't do this in a short story, so I just left it as its own little novella. So that's how that one
Oh
came up.
yeah, sometimes when you get writing, the book writes itself. Like you don't have control of what the story wants to be told. It just happens like that.
Yeah, so many times that happens. And I do take elements from, real life things. Obviously, these things haven't happened to me, but I get inspired by people I know or stuff I've seen myself. So
So is this have you had your own experience with, the paranormal, or was it just something you've always been fascinated with?
I've had, yeah, I've had two or three pretty good unexplained ones for sure, and I've captured, a couple of EVPs before. Uh, two, were somewhat intentional, and the other was just out of nowhere. But I have three really good paranormal stories. So one happens where I work at now, still currently to this day. Another one happens in a house, and another one happens at a church. So I don't know how much time you've got for stories. So I don't know if I could tell all three or what,
We're
but
always good for a wonderful horror story. What do you mean? Or a paranormal story? Come on now.
okay. So I can say too that I mentioned these three specifically because other people were somewhat a witness as well. Because I'm more of a skeptical person. I try to explain everything that happens. Something actually happened uh, this week to my son, and I even tried to, kind of explain that away in the middle of the night. So, like the one at the house, it was the house where my best friend grew up. And I've talked to my dad a little more about this because he was telling me some stories. Well, this particular house sits on top of a place where a house has burnt down before. And I'd always heard that as a kid, and
Oh.
I verified that like a couple of weeks ago. It was an older lady's house. So this house is already on this property. I actually have a newer theory about it too because my uncle lives like straight through the woods from this house, and they find Native American stuff all the time. There's like a
Oh,
well, a
gotcha.
spring back there, and they find arrowheads, there used to be a stump out there around a tree where they found where they had, napped off their flint and some other artifacts. So this house is also near that. So this is where my theory comes in, which I guess I'll tell the story. Uh, my best friend's mom and his stepdad were going to go out of town for the weekend, and they like to have somebody house sit. And we enjoyed it because me and my best
Right.
friend can hang out there. It's a cool house. It's creepy. That's why it's cool. They got a wraparound porch, all that. It's just a country house. So I meet him after work that afternoon, and I'm staying upstairs in the corner bedroom, and I'm carrying my bags up. I get to the top of the stairs, and I feel like if you were standing there and say somebody walks like a foot from your shoulder, like you're gonna know that. Like you could feel that. Somebody comes past you at the top of the
Right.
stairs,
Right.
and I heard a voice in my ear, like somebody walked by and whispered to me and kept going around the banister. But the thing was, it wasn't in English. I didn't understand what I heard. I just heard a voice. So when that happened, it startled me. And I said, I think I just out loud was like, what the heck? And my buddy's downstairs in the dining, well, no, he's in the kitchen. And he said, what's going on up there? Well, we were going to be there all weekend. I didn't want to scare him. So I said, it was
Right.
nothing. Don't worry about it. Cause I'm like, all right, whatever. His mom always told us the house was haunted. Like she said, she'd see, apparitions in the yard in like 1800s clothes and hear like voices over her headphones on the computer and stuff. This was, you always feel creepy there. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so
But
we
when
end
it
up
happens to
staying.
you, it's a little different, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we stay the weekend. I don't know, it was a couple days. And at the very last day, once I'm away from the house, I'm calling him on the phone like Monday or something. I said, hey man, do you remember when I first got to the house and you asked me, hey, what's up? When I got upstairs, he said, yeah. And I said, well, look, I'm going to tell you now because we're not in the house and the weekend's over. And so I told him what happened. He said, well, man, he's like, listen, he's like, something happened to me that morning. He said, and I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to think I was crazy. So he said, I got there early and he was talking to his stepdad sitting at the kitchen island. And he said he felt somebody come up behind him and like hug him. It felt like a hug around his neck, and put their weight down on his back. He said it like his mom would do. And
Right.
he said, "Oh, hey,
Oh.
good morning, mom. Mama, how are you?" And said his stepdad just kind of like turned his face up and said, "Who are you talking to? Your mom's asleep." So that happened on the
Oh. Oh,
same
so he
exact
really
day.
thought it was her.
Yeah, yeah. He said he physically felt the weight on his back, like he was getting a hug, and he said, "Good morning." It was mom, who he thought was his mom. And then that happened to
Wow.
me that
Okay.
afternoon. I think that happened to him like 8, 9 o'clock. Mine happened probably 3:30, 4 o'clock. But same day, same house. But where
Oh,
I went
wow.
with the Native American stuff was the voice I heard wasn't in English, and it never registered with me until like a few months ago when I was telling the story, and I was like, well, you know, maybe it was Native American or something. It didn't speak English. I just heard a voice speak. But I don't know.
Right.
That's
You would
one
have to
thing.
find the history of the house and see maybe if somebody ever owned it that spoke a different language,
That's
like,
true.
immigrants or anything, the Dutch, immigration or, the old Irish.
Could be. I mean, there's a
You never
lot
know.
of when you talk to older people, sometimes they embellish some stories, and there was always the story that the lady who lived in the house that burnt down was a witch. So I don't know that. I can't confirm that, but they
Yeah,
always
there's
told us
always
that.
that story, like fire
Yeah.
equates to witchcraft for some reason, but
Yeah, she was a
yeah,
witch
I
and the
would I
house
would
burnt
do
down.
do my worst. Yeah, I would do, and not all witches are bad. I mean, I was Wiccan for 16 years, until I had a tragedy that I had I guess you would call a crisis of faith in all faith. So I just didn't go back to it, but it didn't mean like witches are all bad. It's all like what you do with that energy for real. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Like everybody I ever talked to, I swear, has had some sort of ghost story
Oh
um
yeah.
to tell. So that's really cool. I like that. And you know me. parapsychology, that's my wheelhouse. So I always want to hear everybody, at least one story, because everybody's got one.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
you are just finishing up your new book. It's called The Other Side of the Graveyard.
that's
Is
right.
it going to be the same like cryptids, or what's that
Oh,
one about?
well, I had this book, it was the first little compilation I had of short stories. So that was Dirt Road Tales of Horror, which I'm not advertising as much right now because I look back on it, it's the first book I ever wrote, and I hadn't written anything in like probably since I was a kid or something, or at least in school. So I'm not real happy with some of it right now. I want to go back and correct it. But it's a book of 19 horror short stories, and they're all based in the southeastern states. So I'm kind of with the other side of the graveyard is very similar. It's just another set of stories, but these I think I got 11, and there's 11 versus 19 because I feel like I just learned a little bit from the first couple books, and I developed more
Right.
into the story. So they're a little longer than the first book, but that's kind of how
Well,
that
that's good.
goes.
We're always creatures of learning. So each time we do something, we learn a little bit more. So it's kind of hard because I look at like some of my very first um face cam videos that I put on my channel, and I'm like, oh, cringe.
Oh goodness, yeah. I had a
So
I had a
I can relate
TikTok
to
at
that a
one
little bit.
time. I had a TikTok at one time that I deleted, and I don't ever want to see those videos again.
Well, the thing is that it's a good thing because you give you something to go back in, and you can see how you've grown from this timid little mousy creature that wants to be an extrovert to here I am, guys. So you grow with each thing you do, and I
Absolutely.
imagine that books you're writing now are going to be fantastic. You know,
Oh, thank you.
and like and I'm sure what you got coming out, the new book and the books to come, they'll just keep improving and getting better each time. So, yeah, don't get discouraged about your previous stuff. It's your stuff. It's good that you want to improve on it, but don't forget where you come from. You know what I mean?
Oh
Always
yeah, yeah.
remember.
Oh, I'm actually very pleased with the stories in the first book. Like I love the plots. I like how they turn out. I just I don't know how I did it. I guess when you're really excited, you look through a different lens, and I thought I
Yeah,
checked through it pretty
everything's
well.
great.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh man, I nailed this. This is going so good. And now I look at it and I see all these mistakes. I'm like, dude, was I in the same room? Was this me when I wrote this?
Right?
Because I don't
Is
I
this
don't
the
remember
same
this.
person?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what
Oh,
was going
Cody
on that
just
day?
asked a really good question. Hi, Cody, by the way, welcome. He wants to know where can he find your books?
They're on Amazon. So they're paperback, ebook, and audiobook are all available on Amazon.
Sweet deal. So make sure you look up Dustin Grammer and pick up his books. Also, I saw, and I know when you were on Adam's podcast, you were kind of shy about it, but you made a blah, 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 words, a mockumentary. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
For
My
Bigfoot?
Yeah, yeah. Steve's Ridge was I did that before I wrote the books, and that started from being a musician. And like I think it was around 2018 maybe. I recorded some music, and I like to watch a lot of bee stuff, bee films. I like to watch documentaries about Bigfoot and stuff because there's a little bit of a history there with this area and storytellers
Oh,
growing up there. So
absolutely.
yeah, and it used to kind of scare me when I was a kid. So I was really big in the Bigfoot stuff for a while, and I'd watch everything I could find on Prime. So one day, I don't know why, I got the bright idea to look through the credits. I'm like, I'm gonna look through the credits, and I'm gonna find a person, uh, the creator, the owner, director, whatever. So I started like looking on Facebook, finding some of these people, and I was spam emailing them because I didn't want much. It's like I just wanted to tell people my song. I have a piece of music in this movie. I was like, hey, can I just like let you? I wouldn't even want to get paid. I'm just like, can I send you a piece of music? if you're working on a movie and you could use like 5 seconds or whatever you want, and most people don't answer you back. I did that to a lot of people, but Thomas Markham at Zombie Media, he always replied, and he was like, "Well, I like the music." He's like, "But I use this other resource. Good luck to you."
Right.
So at some point, I just, technology with phones started getting better, and me and my best friend started making funny reels together, and I started learning how to edit. And he's actually a content creator now. So us working together, we both benefited from that. One day I just sat there, I was watching some of these movies and thought, I want to try just. I can't get my music anything, but if I make my own movie, I can put whatever I want in it. So I
Right.
started asking people I knew, like, hey, if I start making a Bigfoot movie, do you want to be in it? And people be like, yeah. I was like, so let's just record you. Send me a recording of you like having an encounter, and it can be kind of goofy, like because I had this redneck character with long hair that saw Bigfoot, and it was in one of my reels, so I kind of went with that. Uh, I used some effects to make it look like it was from the early '80s, like an aged tape that was rediscovered, and that way I could hide some of the mistakes and blemishes. So it's like my wife is in the scene
Right.
and,
Right.
and she's wearing an Apple Watch and she sticks her hand up, and you can see the watch. So I just glitched it, like where you couldn't see, instead of just redoing it. And I made this Bigfoot mockumentary, and not to make fun of people, because I really enjoy it, but I just, I don't know, it didn't come across very serious. But I like stuff like Boggy Creek and all that. So it's kind of like, let's do something like a found footage type thing with interviews. And I reached back out to Thomas, and, I was asking him for movie advice. How do you make your movies? How do you do this? So he was giving me tips. And one day he's like, well, if you don't mind me looking at your movie, I may distribute it for you if you want me to. And it's on
Oh,
Tubi.
that's
So
cool.
that's how that happened. Uh, so that was the first thing I
That's
did with
awesome.
Zombie
What's
Media.
it called so we
Uh,
know where we could find it?
it's a Steeds Ridge, Steeds, so Steeds Ridge, which is a place I
Cool.
made up.
Like the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Now, are you planning on doing any more mockumentaries in the future?
Um, I thought I was, I was actually going to do a serious documentary, about, paranormal cryptids, that sort of thing, and I have some footage. And I actually rented out, like paid to go into a haunted location in a historical home.
Right.
And it just kind of fell apart part way through. I got a few EVPs that were actually kind of scary. And just something inside me was like, we didn't go in to provoke, we didn't go in like with devices and be like, hey, if you're here, speak to us. We just kind of went in and we were speaking to each other. Like the guy I was with, we're like, hey, how are you? Look over here, and meanwhile, while we're doing this stuff, we're just running digital recorders and cameras and devices, and managed to pick up a couple EVPs. And at some point, I just thought, I may be in over my head with this. I probably should leave this stuff alone. And I started working on
Well,
other
if
things.
you need a parapsychologist, I might know somebody. Just saying.
Yeah, it's not off the table for me to, if I did something again, it'd probably be something kind of funny and not serious. So I don't know. It's not, I'm not planning it right now. It was a lot of work, and I have a lot more fun
Yeah.
writing. And the thing about writing is I don't have to depend on like 10 other people. That's on me. So it's hard to get people together to do a project.
Hi, Michelle. Now, is there if we can find some clips, can we play some? Because we got an hour here. We can share some of your mockumentary if you'd like.
Well, I mean, if you could pull up YouTube, there's a trailer. I know. Um, you could probably just type
Okay.
in Steeds Ridge and it would be on there.
Very well. We certainly can do. Uh-oh. Maybe we already found it
That's
here. Let's see. Oh,
that's
that's some of your
my
music.
promo for Adam. That was for.
Hey, this is Dustin Grammer with Moonlight Monster Media, author of Dirt Road Tales of Horror. And you are listening to Historically Haunted Podcast with a V, with the main man, Adam Begin. Say the line, Adam. Get the
That's awesome.
baby!
Yeah, he gets his clients and stuff to do those promos. That was that one.
Oh, that's Adam, man. I love Adam. He's my agent, and I just adore him. He's such a trip.
Yeah, he threw a copy of The Structure over Stephen King's gate a few weeks ago
Yep. He told me he was going to do that.
at
He
the
had like a
house.
bunch of them. And I'm like, Stephen King probably hates you. His landscaper probably does too. But he does it all the
Yeah,
time. He throws all his clients' books over the fence.
yeah, so I figured they were like, hey, that guy's back again. Yeah, they're like, he's back. Who?
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
the
there's
guy who throws the
Heather.
stuff.
That's Adam's counterpart. She said, "Hey guys, I read Justin's book, The Structure. It was awesome. How did writing that come about?"
Okay, yeah, The Structure. That was the one about the guy with the drone. So, I was saying that it was supposed to be a short story that was going to go in the other side of the graveyard, and it just got too long. It was enough to be a standalone, and it was the first time I'd written something standalone. So that's how that went.
But was it was it inspired about something that actually happened, or a story
Yeah,
maybe that you heard when you were growing up in the
yeah, there
South?
were two things that inspired that. First was being a kid, and there's like natural gas wells and stuff around here, and they have alarms on them. And I was just, as a kid,
Hmm.
me and my brother would tell each other stories and stuff. And around dark, one of them would make an alarm. Like you just hear this alarm out in the middle of the woods, like buzzing. And in my mind, like with an imagination, you start thinking, it makes you think of things. It's like, what if that's like some sort of like door opening and like zombies are just being let out into the woods for the night? I don't know. It's crazy. As crazy as that
Right.
sounds, when you're young. I mean, that's what that sound
Well, that's
out in the
part of being
dark
a
was like.
kid, man. Yeah, you're like, what was
Yeah,
that? It's demons coming from the underbelly or something.
yeah. They're opening the security gate for the night. So that was part of it. And then the second was actually, and I won't say where, but when I was in the Navy and I was in a training location in like a swamp, every evening after classes and after everything, they'd have us out doing, we'd be jogging miles around the location and stuff. Well, there was this building that stood kind of in the back of the place, and it looked empty. This base was built for like World War II stuff, so it's aged. It was like an overflow location we got sent to because the other place was full.
Right.
There's old buildings everywhere. Well, there's this tall old building back there, no lights on. There's always like one car in the parking lot. Well, during the day, they were taking work details because the class was full, so we had to wait so many weeks to get in it. They have a sweeping, mopping, raking leaves, taking out garbage, all this like stuff that sucked. And there was a guy
Right.
that got to go on these work details sometimes. This dude in civilian clothes in a van would pull up, and he'd need volunteers. So one day, this kid I made friends with was like, "You need to go with us." So they put us in the back of the van, which is dumb. You think about it now, it's like that's how much control, like after boot camp, and all you just used to following orders. It's like guys
Yeah,
like
you're
get in
just
the
like,
back of
get
the
in the
van, you
van.
do it.
Is there
Yeah, it's like
puppies? Is there
20 years.
candy? All
Yeah,
right.
I'm looking at it now. It's like, dude, why did I get in the back of that guy's van? Uh, but I did, and he took us to that building, rolled up a door. He rolls in a cart, and he says, when we get upstairs, on the, what was an elevator? It's like one of those elevators with like those accordion doors, the real old ones that fold out like you see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls that back. Well, this like area is full of nothing but boxes, like storage, just junk. He's like, when we get upstairs, stay near the elevator and don't leave. So, and he just needed us there to load up whatever he's going to get. So we get in the elevator, we ride up, I don't know, a couple of floors, and the door opens, or we can see the hallway, and it's a fully operational facility, but the doors are all shut. And every time
Oh,
a door
wow.
opens and somebody comes out, it's a high ranking guy. Like you can see their brass and stuff. It's like, oh my God, to this point, I'm brand new. I hadn't seen people this high rank, and it like intimidated me. Well, this guy wheels his little wagon off, and he comes back with all these hard drives, and we help him load it in the van. He drops us back off, and he leaves. And it's like, dude, what was that? So the whole rest of the time I'm
Right?
there, I'm like studying this building when we're out jogging at night, and it always looks empty. It always looks the same. There's never lights. So that helped inspire the story too. It's like
Oh, wow.
structure.
That's a wild story. It just goes to show, like, um, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. It may look run down and nothing's going on, but there might be a light doors. So it's not always in our
Yeah,
imagination when we think of those things.
I think there was, and sometimes I mean I get scared telling that story. It's just like, hey, I probably should be quiet. I don't want him to come get me. That's why I don't say where it's
Well,
at.
I don't have the views yet. You don't have to worry right now. Maybe in the future, but not right now.
Yeah, I don't want to
Well,
get
it
a knock
looks
on the
like
door. Like, hey, come with us into this van this time for real.
right. I always said if somebody ever pulled up in a white van and said, "Get in," I'd probably get in and they send me back in like 5 minutes later. No, she's too much. No, she liked the handcuffs a little too much. We're bringing her back. That's your problem. Now,
Here,
it looks
keep
like we
her.
got another promo that you were in for Caffeinated Cryptid,
Oh, that was another podcast.
right? Well, I like to showcase your musical talents.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it may play in a couple minutes here, but I just wanted to let you know that we did find that one. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I've got some stuff on
oh,
YouTube.
here it
You
is.
probably
Here it
have
is.
music.
Mr. Dustin Grammer, a documentarian and filmmaker from my home state of Alabama. He lives down near Tuscaloosa, close where I went to college. Roll Tide. That's why I had the hat on today.
Roll
He's
Tide.
even was he's a real nice dude. Sent me a mug from his studio, Moonlight Monster Media. I'm looking at my mug to say it because I got it wrong 3 times in the intro before. So 3 times the charms, I guess. He is currently working on a cryptid documentary. It was going to be based in Alabama, but he's gotten so many sources and guests that he's going to do kind of it's going to be kind of nationwide. Black cats, cryptids, Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Working really hard on it. Got some good guests. Some of my guests will be on there. I sent him, threw him a bone to the little fella because I'm not the little fella anymore. I've gained a bunch of weight over Christmas, people, and it's a real problem. Anyway. Moonlight Monster Media. The link is in the description. Dustin Grammer. He's also got a movie on, I think it's on Tubi. It's on those kind of things. It may be on YouTube. It's called Steed's Ridge. You can find it on IMDb. I've got a link to that in the description. But check that out. It's kind of a horror mockumentary kind of thing. It's one of those kind of movies that's fun to watch. It ain't no Forrest Gump, I'll tell you that. But it is a darn entertaining movie. But you are, of course, listening and watching the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast, and I'm your host, Bobby Dizzle, and all ways to watch and listen are in the description. Check out bobbydizzle.com, and I encourage everyone to subscribe on YouTube, please. I'm trying to get up to 1 million followers on there. And also check out my Facebook group, Bigfoot and Coffee, the official group of the Caffeinated Cryptid podcast.
Gosh.
The link to that
Love
is also
it.
in the description. I'm trying to grow it as well. It's where I post all my content first. It's where I go to first. So if you're a member of that group, you'll get everything I put out the moment I put it out. I mean, that's ground zero for Bobby Dizzle Enterprises. Anyway, let's get to this Dustin Grammer episode
Shameless
because this is
plug
really
for
fun.
Caffeinated
And
Cryptid.
thanks again, Dustin, for being on.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah, I think
awesome.
I did that one. That was not long after so I see 2023 on there. So I think maybe that was right after the movie came out. He was maybe the second, third, or fourth podcast I ever did because I did Diego's first. That was the first one I
Right.
actually saw.
Diego says, "Okay, now the book is creepier." Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Diego. Diego's high energy, and so is Adam. I feed off that, man. I love high energy
Oh, yeah.
folks. That's for sure. And if people don't know, Heather is Adam's significant other. I'm not going to say better half because he'll get mad at me. Um,
She
but yeah,
she saved my life one time. Like
who
at
Heather
one
did?
point. Yeah, Heather did. That's why I'm here today. Because then I went to
Really?
Salem. Yeah, I went to Salem last year to the Paracon
Hmm.
up there, and I was starving to death. And she gave me something to eat. She had like a little kind bar. So I mean, if
She's
you
always
feed
got
me,
snacks.
yeah. So if you feed me, that goes a long way with me. So I'll never forget that.
You never get rid of you if we feed you, right? That
Oh
Southern
no, no, no.
hospitality
I've
mentality,
done.
right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work just to get paid with like a cheeseburger, like move furniture, which I'm older now. I'm not going to do that anymore. But I've like helped
Haven't
people
we
move
all,
because they're
though?
like, hey, yeah, they're like, hey, we'll feed you if you help us move this furniture. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but that's a different mindset than what, I think the generations now have. Because back in the day, because I'm from West Virginia, so we ain't that far apart, but we were raised to always look after our elders and check them whenever it
Right.
snowed to make sure that they had what they needed, that kind of thing. But I don't think people do that as much anymore. I think I instilled that
Yeah,
in my kids, and hopefully they carry it on, but I just don't think it
yeah.
happens.
There's a whole lot. Yeah, there's a lot of those the elderly generation that's moved on now that really left an impact on me. I like that in my storytelling too. There's uh, it's it's like nostalgia. So, I mean, even though there's some stories that they're more modern, but just there's some things like from the 80s and 90s, that just stick with me. I remember those older people and the way their houses
Oh,
smelled,
right.
the clothes. Yeah, the stories they would tell. They were all storytellers, and they'd give you like a piece of candy if you came over or something. It was
Listening
just
to their
definitely different.
stories.
Yeah,
Most definitely. And the wisdom that they provided, is irreplaceable. And
it
sometimes
is.
just like learning the old tales about like where some of the, because I grew up in Appalachia. So, everybody talks about the don't yell out somebody's name in the woods after dark and don't whistle if you hear something whistle in the woods. No, you didn't. Like you hear your name
Yeah.
called and that person's not with you. No, you didn't. Like, but if you experience it, man, the Appalachians are not a place to mess around because you will find out. Like, it's so you've got the mockumentary, you've got the Moonlight Monster Media. See, I said it the first time right. Aren't you proud of
That's
me?
it.
My ADHD did not fuck it up. Um, are you going to be doing more with the Moonlight Monster Media?
Well, I think if you were listening to Adam's show, you heard how that came up. I'll go over it. It was when I did the movie, I just like randomly, because I watch those B movies. I watch the Prime Amazon Prime stuff, and everybody's got like cryptid productions or something, and I wanted to
Right?
like kind of have like a little screen, like Thomas has zombie media, and there's like a little show at the beginning. I think it used to be a cat or something. I think it's a zombie. So I was like, man, I want my own like brand. And my brother and his friend are always screwing with me because at one point he tried to do like his own version of like a Dungeons and Dragons game. He had his own little mechanics and he was kind of like working through a prototype. So we would get together for a few weeks and we were kind of filling this out. We made a character. So, I mean, it was all brand new. He's kind of creating it as we go. So my guy, I was just like, he has like moon powers. Yeah, because I did that song. It's a guitar song I did about that time called Silver Bullet, which was a time in my life I was really struggling with some failures. And to prove myself that I could accomplish things, I was like, I can play guitar. I'm going to make a song. I'm going to try to motivate myself to keep going because I had failed at something at work and I was having a hard time with it. So I did that. So with Silver Bullet, he kind of brings the imagery of a full moon, werewolves, which is stuff I like. And so during his little D&D game he's creating, I kept mentioning moon powers, moonlights and stuff, and I don't know, they just started like joking about it all the time. So when it came time to come up with a brand, I became Moonlight Monster Media. I was like, I'm gonna stick with this Moonlight thing and just really, do this so they can keep laughing. Their joke can continue, and it ended up being more serious.
Right.
'Cause I
Right.
actually
It's
liked the
funny
name, and
how
it,
like inspiration comes to be out of the strangest circumstances, like, and it carries through.
yeah,
Like at least that
it
came
was
from the
kind of a
heart. It wasn't
joke.
just something you're like, that just sounds cool.
Yeah, it was just a continued joke that actually sounded cool. It becomes something I run. I keep it going now with Moonlight Monster Media,
That's
which I've
awesome. That's
shifted
awesome.
more towards just being an author now than anything. Or that's what I hope to keep doing. I have the most fun doing that right now.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than sitting down and just letting the movie play out in your head and you just get it on paper and just get
Right.
into that flow state, man. And like there's nothing like that on the
Oh
planet.
yeah. And once they get in my head, like once I just randomly start inventing these stories, they won't leave me alone. Like I can't get rid of them until I write them, and I'll just keep thinking about it. It's like, yeah, this could happen. I could write this. I need to, or it's more like I need to sit down and write this, and it'll keep bothering me till I do it, kind of
Right,
thing.
right. Well, it your characters, like, I don't know, they become a part of you. So it's like you go to bed with them, you wake up with them, you go to the bathroom with
Yeah.
them. They kind of hang in the back of your head until you get what you need to sorted out and worked out. The best inspiration I always get is for some reason in the bathtub or the shower. I don't know why. That's my good
Hmm.
thinking space when I'm trying to work through a problem.
Yeah. I usually come up with it like if I'm cutting grass or walking. If I'm just kind of in some repetitive activity. Or I'll see
Yeah.
something. A lot of them are based off of, even though they're horror, so the horror itself didn't happen in real life, but I'll take an element like I'll hear a couple guys having a conversation and base it off of them people, like their personalities, or I'll see something happen and be like, that's how I could do it. Sometimes it doesn't come till like months later because I'm like, how am I going to do this? And then something will just strike, and I'm like, that's it. That's how I'm going to do it.
Right. Lightning will strike. Ah.
Yeah. And then I've learned to take notes because I can't remember stuff like I used to. So now, as soon as I think of something, I'll make a note. Because sometimes I go back and read my notes, and it's like somebody else wrote them because I'm like, man, I don't
Right.
remember this. Like, what was this?
What was
I
this
like it
about? What
though.
was I writing about? Yeah.
I was like,
Always
dang, man,
carry a notebook.
I was like, man, I was cool that day.
I come up with some good stuff that day. It was
Yeah.
the caffeinated coffee kicking in that day.
Oh yeah.
So any advice you can give any authors to be out there?
Yeah. And I'm no, I'm still learning a lot. I guess I'm considered an author now because it's hard to look at yourself that way. But the only thing I can say through this whole process, no matter what I was trying to do, it's like I set my mind to seeing if things are possible. Like, can I do this? Can I accomplish it? This person did it. I'm gonna try it. It's just to be persistent, I guess. Just don't, because I'm bad about this. This is like you're always your worst critic. Your own mind is probably your own worst enemy. I get really doubtful sometimes because I'll
Absolutely.
see other people posting, or I'll read other reviews. Like people be raving about this person's book's great, and then it kind of makes you feel like you're not up to the same level. You're not you're not on their
It's
level.
the
That's not you.
it's imposter syndrome. That's what the technical
Yeah,
term
yeah,
is. That's
your
the
stuff
psychological
sucks or
term.
whatever. So for
Yeah.
advice, I would just say just however, it doesn't matter how you feel. If you enjoy it, you want to write a book, just sit down and do it one day and put it out there. Just do it. That's what I've been doing this whole time. And even though I look back and I see things I don't like, I can fix that later. I'm going to write the next thing and keep going. And it's opened up the network so far. I met this person introduces you to this person, and everybody's really cool. It's
Right.
really fun to talk to everybody. So if anything, you're just making a bunch of new friends along the way. that's cool too.
Right,
But if you
right.
enjoy it and you
Oh,
have fun doing something, just do it. You know,
exactly.
create.
Like that's a huge piece of the equation is like if you wait until the perfect time to perfect so and you'll never
No,
know what you can do unless you get yourself to do it. And a lot of people they get hung up with that. I did for years. Like I was like,
yeah,
nobody wants to see this face on a screen. What do you mean? And here I've like acted in a couple films now. I'm doing a podcast live. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know,
oh my God,
but
this
I'm
is
throwing
live. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, don't freak out now, man.
No, I know.
You're
I'm
doing
just kidding.
fun. But
So what
if the
movies
people
what
that knew
movies
me
were you
before,
in?
I just wrapped in New York. I was in the Flower City Butcher movie. I play Chelsea. It's
Okay.
just like a little. And then I also played a psychotic hallucination of a family member in Dasher Slasher, the short film.
I
And I
bet
had
was
like
that
skull
fun?
makeup on. It was crazy. Oh yeah, it was fun. I enjoy it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of long days. It's a lot of when you do acting, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. And you're
Mhm.
sitting around sets for all day. We didn't our call time for Flower City Butcher was 11 or wait a minute, 6 o'clock in the evening. We didn't wrap till 5 o'clock in the morning the next day, and it was 90-degree heat, but it was scenes that were supposed to be happening in fall, so we're all in scarves and hats and jackets in a 90-degree
Oh no.
store trying to act like we're freezing to death. So yeah, it was a challenge. It was fun though. Great people. I met Christian Bester. He's been on SVU, and Ari Lehman, which he was the original Jason Voorhees. So it was fun. It was an experience for sure.
Where can you watch those at? Like if I want to go watch one of
Flower City Butcher, it's not going to be coming out till next year because they still have part of the film because unfortunately one of the directors fell really ill during
those.
production. They had to rush her to the hospital. So they're going to wrap up production, I think, in December. And then they're going to start the editing and everything. So it might come out next year. And then what you were touching on, what you were saying about you never know who you're going to meet. I
Mm-hmm.
actually had the opportunity to go to MainCon this weekend. That's why I don't have my energy that I typically do, but I'm still getting over MainCon hangover. It was
Oh, that
the
looked like
main
that was a lot of
paranormal.
fun.
Oh, it was. It was busy though. It was a lot. I got to be on the paranormal panel there, and it was really really neat. And I had the distinct honor of Patty Negri had come in and snuck in and sat in the audience, and she came up, the psychic. She's been on Ghost Adventures and different things, but we've been friends on
Mhm.
Facebook for quite a while. And she come up afterwards. She's like, "You've never done public speaking before like this?" I said, "No." She said, "You did so good." Like, and she gave me a big hug. It was really cool. So there was a lot of people like I had connections with, and I was friends online. But I'm like, I'm just this little country bumpkin, in the middle of the woods in my cabin, and all these people were like, "I know
Yeah,
you." Come here, give me a hug. And it was really cool. It was a cool experience. Made some really
yeah.
good friends, I think, out of the trip. So very cool. Next
Were you
time,
by Adam?
oh yeah, we were right by Adam. So we got to hang with Adam and Heather all day. And we had the radicals were right across from us with their hearse. That was really awesome. And then who else? They had, of course, the guys from Nesper. I got to meet a couple. It was really wild. It was a lot of fun. It was surreal for
Yeah,
most of it. Like,
I'd like to try to go next year, maybe. I just this year I want to have more work, with me. So I only had the two books right now, and it's a lot, to travel from Alabama to Maine, and I kind of need to
hey,
be
I
prepared
traveled
to do
to
that.
West Virginia to Maine. Like, that was wild. Like, I don't drive, but we made it. So,
Oh, you
like
drove?
you said,
Yeah.
you never, yeah, we drove it. But yeah, it's the same thing. You got to put yourself out there sometime.
Yeah, if you
I'm trying to
yeah,
see.
if you never take the chance, it'll never happen. I mean, it's
Exactly. Exactly. Take those opportunities while you have them and get yourself out there. Because, I bet um, there was a number of authors there that were signing books. So, yeah, you would have fit right in. And everybody was so warm and welcoming there. You would have had an awesome time, without a doubt.
yeah,
10
same
out of
same
10.
in Salem last year. Yeah, I met the Radicals and Nate Elwell and Thomas Gormley and all them were there, and it was fun meeting everybody in person, not on Facebook.
Right, right.
Actually
It's so much
seeing these
different than
people.
online.
Adam, yeah, Adam and Heather sat right beside us. It was
Yeah, they're
fun.
cool folks. If you have the time, next year's Paracon at Penhurst. I went this past year and it's amazing. I met Josh Gates, Ghost Brothers, Kindred Spirits, and my favorite, Project Fear. I love Project Fear. They just seem so awesome. Yeah, most definitely. I would love to go to Penhurst. And even do public speaking again. That was wild. I really enjoyed that. I had a panel. I'm part of a panel. It was a really, really, I was blessed to do that. Um, and the guys that were on the panel were amazing. So, well, it's not about me, it's about you.
Oh,
I
that's
got on a
fine.
tangent. My ADHD was rolling there for a hot minute. I'm coming down for the Paracon high, I guess. But
Yeah.
you
I hate blabbering. Like I feel like sometimes when I'm on podcasts, I don't want to just because I could sit here and talk the whole time and tell stories. And then like even my wife would hear me and she's like, "Did you ever shut up?" Like the whole time they had you on there. I'm like,
That's
yeah,
the point.
a little bit.
That's the point. To talk, talk, talk. That's what podcasts are for. Um,
And I'm
and
really
the
not
one
a
thing that
talkative. Like I'm more of an introvert person, so it's a little different.
yeah, yeah, you're kind of put on the spot. You have to talk in a podcast. Now, the one thing that we didn't talk, and we only got about 8 minutes, so I wanted to make sure we covered it, is your music. Now, we did see a small clip of your music earlier. Can you tell people about your music and that kind of thing?
Well, it was just something I've been doing since I was a teenager. I would say it was kind of the gateway into the rest of this. Um, I, I, I'm planning on starting to play a little more this winter, but I'm not in a band or anything like that anymore. I play electric guitar. Well, I play guitar, so I have acoustic too, and I'll make little. If you dig deep enough into some of my reels or YouTube stuff, you might find like where I've taken like footage of like I went to an old mental hospital and took some scenes or a swamp. I'll make like these little reels and I put my own music in the background. So I was always like a hair metal guy, and I grew
Oh
up listening to like
yeah.
old country music and stuff. So it's old country music, blues, hair metal, that kind of stuff. So uh, it's just something I do. I guess you just say it's more of a hobby. I don't do anything professionally with it. It is all
Yet.
the Steve Ridge soundtrack is my music, the whole thing, but just little clips.
Well, that's awesome. And that's in itself is a credit to your name that you actually, used all your own music in your own movie. Like that movie is completely yours 110%.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite title when Thomas put it on IMDb was that it said I was a composer. I'm like, oh, I like
Ooh.
that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a composer now. All right. Yeah, let's bring out the red wine
The
and the cheese.
fancy. Yeah.
Yeah,
The fancy smoker's jacket and the cigars,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm a
I got the
composer.
cigar. But yeah, like I think that's an amazing feat. Like that was one thing I never learned to do, and I wish I would have is to play an instrument. I'm if I could have picked an instrument, would have been the drums though.
Yeah,
I think I would have liked to been able to.
I started out there. I always when I was a kid, I always thought that was the coolest. But that's just I've tried it a couple times. That one doesn't click with me. I guess I have bad timing or not enough coordination between my hands and my feet. I don't know.
Well, they say it takes a lot of practice.
Oh yeah.
Like it's definitely a skill you have to learn. And it's like my youngest can play like I don't know how many instruments, and she's just really really good at it. And I've just never been able to. Yeah, she's amazing. She makes her own music too. So
Cool. That's awesome. I bet you've heard a lot of the same tunes repeated over and over and over and over.
well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
how you learn.
Yeah.
Like, but that's okay. Like that's part of the learning
That's how it
process.
goes.
That's why I said I think that's why I don't like to hear things over and over anymore. I used to be one of those people. Like if I liked the music, I would play the same song 1,500 million times until I learned every word of it. But I don't do that. Oh, here's another clip.
I had no idea what that was
That's
gonna
awesome.
be. It took so long. It's like, well, which one is
Well,
this?
that's what I'm
Sounding
good.
me in the
I
green
keep you
shirt and the
on your
hat.
toes.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Got to keep
there
you
was
on
a
your
lot of
toes.
videos where I'm dressed like that. Which one is that? I posted a lot of
It's
junk
like,
too.
so far, I haven't seen much junk. You're definitely talented. There's no way I could get my hands to do all that at the same time. There's no, I don't have that kind of skill when it comes to that kind of thing. We might have a cat eruption. Hold on. My cat's trying to get over here. Um, but we're getting close to the hour. We got about 4 minutes. Is there anything you want to advertise, let people know of, where to get a hold of you, that kind of thing?
Oh, well, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for having me on, and it was fun. It's good to meet you. Good to talk to you in person. And I
Right.
mean, I'm really just on Facebook all the time. I mean, I have like a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, but I look at Facebook the most, and that's where I do most of the posts. Like if I post something, it's usually Facebook for sure.
Right. And you're
It,
part of the historically haunted booking. So you can get a hold
yes,
of Adam Beggins to get a
absolutely.
hold of Dustin, and he can direct you if you want him on his on your podcast in the future. If you want to pick up his books, you can find that again on Amazon. And it's Dustin Grammer with an E on Facebook. I found out the hard way.
Yeah, that's a joke too. People would assume they're like, "Oh, your name's Grammar. You must be good at grammar." I'm like, "It's misspelled, so
It can't be that
yeah,
good if it's misspelled
yeah, it's
automatically.
misspelled, so I'm not really that great at it, right?"
And I want to thank you for giving the time to me today and coming on and talking about all your books and your great things and um, just spending time with me. Time is um, we don't have enough of it in the world, so it's a pleasure. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming in, hanging out, and commenting. I greatly appreciate it. Hi, Cody. Oh, thank you, Cody. And it's an amazing show, guys. I'll be tuning in more. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate that. And on that note, I guess we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you again for hanging in here at Horror History and Hauntings Podcast. Tune in next week. We're going to have Stacy Reed from Dark Echoes Paranormal. And on that note, have a wonderful night, sweet dreams, and goodbye. Bye bye.